Welcome to the Build Your Reiki Business podcast. I'm Christian of Standing Stones Healing, founder of the Reiki Business Collective and creator of the Build Your Reiki Business program, sending blessings and best wishes to your Reiki business. Greetings, welcome, and thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Build Your Reiki Business podcast. I'm Christian of Standing Stones Healing and say thank you so much for being here. In this episode, we're talking about revision in our Reiki business. Revision in our Reiki business. So exactly what do I mean by revision? Well, in our Reiki business, things are not going to go as we plan. Things are not going to happen in the way that we expect them to. And so we are going to need to do some troubleshooting, some critical thinking, and some revision of our plans. And so this is what I mean by revision. It is the necessity in our Reiki business to be able to change things up, to be able to change direction, to be able to act quickly, to be able to make contingency plans. A revision is when we redo something. And the use of this term comes from my past as a writing teacher. And as a writing teacher, I taught about revision and how important revision is in the writing process. And so I would talk to students about how revision is an essential part of the writing process, and revision is an essential part of the Reiki business process. And I would explain to my students, you know, when you have those moments in your life when you are planning to do one thing, you are going to do one thing, and then, oops, you need to do another. The example that I would often give my students is that when I was a college student, I thought I was going to major in psychology. And then I found out about the lab rats. And so these revisionary moments are really the and then kind of experience where we're going to do something, we have something planned, oops, and then something else happens. And this is the case in our Reiki business as well. As a matter of fact, being able to change directions and revise in our Reiki business is an essential skill. It's an essential skill because this happens again and again and again, and even every single day in our Reiki business. Now, the great Michaela Daystar calls this the art of pivoting. I'm going to drop a link to Michaela's website down below so that you can check her work out. And she actually recommended that I offer some thoughts on this topic on the podcast. So great thanks to her. Michaela calls it the art of pivoting. I call it revision, whatever you call it. It's essential in our Reiki business. We absolutely must cultivate this skill. We really must cultivate this skill because these unexpected experiences happen all of the time. Except in Reiki business, of course, it's not, oh, I was going to major in psychology. It is, oh, I was going to offer mobile Reiki, and then fill in the blank. And so it's when the and then happens that we need to be able to go with the flow, to be open to change, and to do some things differently. I cannot tell you how often this has happened in my Reiki business. Like I just I can't even fathom the number of times that this kind of revisionary moment has happened in my Reiki business. For instance, over the years, I've had some challenges with Facebook Lives. For whatever reason, I have challenges technologically with Facebook Lives. If it isn't one thing, it's another, and I enjoy going live, but gosh darn it, I have lots of technological challenges with going live. And so it's in those moments where we have something planned, we have a vision, we have an idea of how things are going to go and how we want them to go. And then the unexpected happens. The oops, the oh crap, the what now kind of moment. And so, what I have done in those moments is that I have changed up some things. I have streamed through Zoom instead of going onto Facebook, instead of going live directly on Facebook. I have recorded what I meant to go live with instead of going live. So, things that we can do and, in fact, need to do in our Reiki business. Because in our Reiki business, that I was going to, but moment happens all of the time. And so if you are challenged to pivot, to revise, to change things up and do things differently, you're going to have a really hard time as a Reiki business owner because it happens so frequently that either you are going to adapt and get better at this skill or your Reiki business is not going to last. Period. It's that important because it is that commonplace. And so with my example with the Facebook Lives, just one small example, but it's something that if you don't adapt to, if you don't find a way to revise, to revision the way that you deliver what you do, then you are really going to be challenged to move forward with your Reiki business. Critical thinking is such an important skill. And I believe that it is just an essential life skill for all of us, one of the top life skills. And critical thinking in Reiki business is no different. It is one of the top skills, maybe even the top skill in Reiki business. And so truly that ability to revise, to pivot, to re-envision, to do things differently, to adapt, is all about critical thinking. It's all about the ability to assess a situation and to make changes for that situation, to adapt and to continue to move forward. When those moments happen, we can do a few things. We can get angry. We can allow them to stop us. We can lash out at others, and we can move forward. And I encourage a constructive way of dealing with those moments in which we have our oh crap moment. Like, it's okay to have an oh crap moment. Like, that's an appropriate thing. But to be able to act quickly, think quickly, and move to remedy the situation. Now, we can't, on our Reiki business journey, be able to envision any and all scenarios, anything that might go wrong. So let's say you're planning to do a Facebook Live, and you're saying, okay, I'm going to think about all of the possible things that could go wrong and what I'm going to do when all of those things happen. But the truth is that there are a lot more things that can happen than we might realize. For instance, one time I went live and I was using a screen behind me and it fell over and smacked my computer. and knocked my computer lid closed, shut down the whole live. It was pretty crazy. Now, there was no way that I could have planned for that. There was no way that I could have ever thought that that would happen. And said, okay, now, if my screen falls over onto my computer and shuts the whole live down, here's what I'm going to do. Because we just can't know exactly everything that is going to happen before it happens. But what we can do is we can cultivate a mindset that says, no matter what happens, I can handle it. And so when the screen falls over, closes the computer, and shuts down the Facebook Live, yeah, that sucks, and I can handle it. And what I did in that scenario, in that case, was that I actually, interestingly enough, I had been having a challenge with the broadcast anyway. So the broadcast was not doing well anyway. So what I did was I took a break, took a breather, stepped away from the computer, felt upset and sorry for myself for a little bit, and then went back and recorded what it was that I had to share and put it on YouTube. And so did it happen in the way that I wanted it to? No. But I had that revisionary moment, and I adapted and I did something different. It's that ability to do something different that is so necessary in Reiki business, because you are always going to have things that come up that are unexpected. Everything from, a small Facebook Live issue to a student wanting a refund to a venue that is no longer available, that was available, but was double booked and now it's not available. Any and all of those things can and do happen in our Reiki business. And so the question isn't if something unexpected happens in your Reiki business, it's when. When something unexpected in your Reiki business happens, how are you going to respond? What are you going to do? Are you going to get angry, pitch a fit, react in unkind ways? Or are you going to recognize that that's part of business stuff? It's part of the experience, and maintain decorum and professionalism and move forward in a new direction. That's exactly what revision is about. It's about moving forward in a new direction. And when it comes to revision, sometimes, well, especially in writing, but in life too, the revision is better than what we had planned in the first place. And the revision is better than what we were expecting in the first place. Because what's happening is that when we have our revisionary moment, when we pivot and make change, sudden change, and go in a different direction, we are calling upon all of our knowledge and experience and the ways that we have responded previously in those situations. And so truly, this is a skill, because the more you do it, the better you get at it. You're drawing upon all of the experiences of those previous revisionary moments, and you're using them to help you in this revisionary moment. And so as we cultivate that mindset of responding to business challenges, it strengthens our ability to respond to those kinds of challenges. What that means is that now, when I have a Facebook Live issue, I will tell you that I went live recently on Facebook, and I was having some challenges with the broadcast. And someone in the comments wrote, "Oh, poor Christian. I feel so bad for him. And I said, I was able to see it, even though I was having trouble with the broadcast. I was able to see the comment. And I said, listen, don't feel bad for me. This is something that I've dealt with again and again. Like, it doesn't even faze me. I feel bad for you and the broadcast, but please know that I'm just like, meh, it's fine. Is it frustrating? Sure it is. Is it what I expected? Sure not. But it has happened so many times that I'm just like, oh, that broadcast wasn't so great. Well, guess what? I'm going to do another one anyway. And so what that means is that that kind of challenge in my Reiki business just no longer even phases me, because it's like, yep, all right, Facebook isn't cooperating today. Well, maybe tomorrow. Not that it isn't frustrating. Of course, sure it is. It's annoying, but definitely it's not the kind of thing that I am going to react in an unprofessional kind of way about. Because it's something that I've strengthened that muscle over. And really and truly, it is a muscle. It's a skill and it's a muscle. And so as we experience the challenges, as we need to pivot, and as we have those moments of needing to revise, we get better and better at it. We use our critical thinking skills and we're able to figure things out. There comes a point in your Reiki business where if you stick it out long enough, you realize that you can figure anything out and you can handle anything in your Reiki business. That there isn't anything that is going to sink your Reiki business ship. That you've seen enough stuff, you've been through enough challenges, you've bounced back after enough challenges, and where someone else might look at it and say, oh, I don't think I could go on. Oh, I don't think I could do another Facebook Live after one like that. Nope, you get to a point where, yes, you can. Where you just keep getting back up and moving forward, even if that movement is in a different direction from what you expected, even if you are recording your Facebook Live rather than actually going live with it, whether you are going live again because the first one didn't work, or whatever it might be. And so there comes a point in your Reiki business where you're like, yeah, this is not what I expected, not what I planned, and not what I wanted, and I don't like it, but it's not going to sink my Reiki business ship. And so I want to encourage you that we all need to cultivate that skill, because especially when you're new or newer in your Reiki business and you have those kinds of moments, they very well could sink your Reiki business ship to the point where you say, oh, this Facebook Live thing, I can't do it. Every time I try, it doesn't work well. I'll just never figure it out. And I'm just not cut out for this Reiki business thing anyway. I just can't do it. And so know that if we don't cultivate this kind of mentality of revision, of moving forward in a different direction, of handling the unexpected, then your Reiki business is not going to last for very long. This is an essential skill. Now, the good news is that this is a skill that you can cultivate outside of Reiki business. And so this is a skill that you can bring to Reiki business when you start your Reiki business, as well as strengthen during your Reiki business journey. And so I do encourage, to ask yourself, how are you able to cultivate that idea of the revisionary moment outside of your Reiki business to help you when you have them inside of your Reiki business? And if you haven't started your Reiki business yet, this is a great question that you may want to ask yourself. How do I handle those kinds of challenges? How do I handle when things don't go my way? How do I react when things happen in life that throw me off, that are unexpected and not what I want? How do I show up in those moments? This is an important thing to ask and reflect upon before starting a Reiki business, because guaranteed you're going to need to be able to do those things when you have a Reiki business. And good news is, if you start a Reiki business and you're not so great at that, you let things really that are unexpected really throw you off. Maybe you act inappropriately, throw a temper tantrum, whatever the case might be. When you have those revisionary moments, maybe they, land you in bed for a couple of days, sad and upset. It's helpful to know before going into your Reiki business how you might respond to challenges in your Reiki business when we have the need for doing things a little differently, changing them up, moving in a different direction, whatever the case might be. So cultivate those critical thinking skills. Challenge yourself outside of your Reiki business to use those skills and to find new and different ways of solving problems. That's really what it is. It's problem solving. And the more that you can problem solve in your Reiki business, the better, because you're always going to have problems. I'll say that again. In your Reiki business, you're always going to have problems. You will never not have problems in your Reiki business. And so it's not whether or not you have problems in your Reiki business, it's how you respond to the problems. It's what you do when I was going to major in psychology, but then I found out about the lab rats. It's what you do then in that moment. I was going to go live on Facebook, but this big screen fell over and turned off my computer. Then what? And then what did you do about it? So how you respond outside of your Reiki business to challenges, how you solve problems outside of your Reiki business, is a good indicator of how you may very well show up in your Reiki business in responding to challenges in the revisionary moment. So let us all strive to recognize that we have the power in those moments of how we respond, of how we react, of how we move forward, and the ways in which we revise. Because this is so very important, no matter the source of the need for revision, no matter where that comes from, whether that's from our own doing, where we're the one who made the mistake, whether that is from someone else's error, happens all the time, whether that is from other external factors and forces, whatever the case might be, let's ask ourselves what we do in those moments, how we respond, and how we move forward. So sending lots and lots of blessings to cultivating those important critical thinking, problem solving, pivoting, revisionary skills in our Reiki business, because they are essential. And they are so essential that if you do not cultivate them, if you do not improve upon them, your Reiki business, I'm sorry, it's not going to last. Because always there are going to be challenges, always there are going to be problems, always there is going to be a need for pivoting and revisioning. So I'm sending lots of blessings and best wishes to your revisionary moments in your Reiki business. Have you had revisionary moments in your Reiki business? Join us in the Reiki Business Collective and tell us all about it. You can connect with us at facebook.com/groups/Reiki Biz. All Reiki business owners and Practitioners considering starting a Reiki business are welcome. You are also welcome to indeed get the free Reiki Biz Kit. That's at standingstoneshealing.com/Reiki Biz Kit. It offers lots of information on all aspects, all kinds of aspects of Reiki business stuff, an FAQ with 16 different frequently asked questions on Reiki business, a couple of Reiki business articles, and even my chakra song and my 25 minutes of Native American style flute playing for your Reiki sessions, your meditations, yoga, however you want to use it. Yes, I play the Native American style flute as well, and I'm honored to include those recordings in the Reiki Biz Kit. I'm also honored to offer the Build Your Reiki Business program, where we talk a lot about mindset. It's a whole module number 2, because this kind of framework, this kind of ability to respond is so essential in Reiki business. You can learn more at standingstoneshealing.com/build and start building your Reiki business and start cultivating your Reiki business mindset right away. Sending so many blessings and best wishes to your Reiki business. Thanks for tuning in to the Build Your Reiki Business podcast. Please like, share, subscribe, and send to a friend. Learn more about the Build Your Reiki Business program at standingstoneshealing.com/build. Sending blessings and best wishes to your Reiki business.